Now, we were talking about industrial development.
Right.
John C. Bensinger had a couple of businesses on Main Street, and he eventually became the postmaster of Stroudsburg, the borough of Stroudsburg. And he had a business of tailor shop where they made clothes, men's clothes mostly. And another time he had a business that combined stoves and bicycles. And then he also, I think, had the post office there, or someplace he had the post office. But one of the things he did is join an organization called the Stroudsburg Industrial Club, and it shortly became secretary and kept a minute book with handwritten minutes in it, which I have at the office and meant to bring up to show you, but I can show you at another time. And I want to finish reading it. I've never read it. It's hard work reading it because it's written in longhand. Mm-hmm. And but the important thing they did, they formed a nonprofit corporation, just called a club at that instance, maybe it wasn't a formal corporation, but it was a club that consisted of some prominent business people in the community of Stroudsburg. And the objective was to attract new industries to the Stroudsburg, just as the Chamber of Commerce and ultimately Pocono Mountains Industries and all that drive for industrial jobs. And this is in the 1917, 18, 19s. They did the same thing then, in fact, in principle, in fact, that we do now and have been doing for the past 40 years. We issue bonds, originally they're to the state of Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania Industrial Development Organization, and which has its PETA, it's called, and it's the financing tool for over the last 30 years or so for new industry in Pennsylvania, attracting them from you can't attract them from another community in Pennsylvania, but if you attract them from any other state, or if they're beginning industry, they get certain benefits, lower interest loans and so forth, if they employ a certain number of people. And in those days, the state wasn't involved in the financing. The local people, financial people and business people and other non-competing industries, they bought bonds and they loaned the money, not through the Stroudsburg Industrial Club, but they were members of the Stroudsburg Industrial Club, and they put up the money to help attract these businesses. They had glass companies, at least two, I think, and they had other industries that employed people, and they built plants in the Stroudsburg area and attracted, had bigger payroll and for the merchants and these other professional and business people, banks to be their customers. And so it was interesting to me to read that and see that, hey, we're not doing anything new. We're just doing it a different way with some different people and different structure, but the same thing in principle is lending money to new businesses and industries, and we're still doing it. And that's my dad was also then became president of the Chamber of Commerce. He was active in the Chamber of Commerce, and they did that through the Chamber of Commerce at that time. What happened was, legally, the Stroudsburg Industrial Club became the Stroudsburg Chamber of Commerce, and that became the Monroe County Chamber of Commerce, and that became the Pocono Mountain Chamber of Commerce. And then I was involved in some of those changes. I was on the board of the Chamber of Commerce, and helped form with some other men who are all dead now, an organization called a nonprofit called Pocono Mountains Industries Inc. And I wrote the charter, and I wrote the bylaws, and so on and so forth. And that helped Camelback, which is also in the book. There's a lot about that. Now, of course, they have, in addition to Pocono Mountains Industries, they have, when I served on that board for 42 years, I also served on the boards of other organizations that do sort of the same thing. Monroe County Industrial Development Authority, or Monroe County, something like that. Read it, Industrial Development Corporation or Association. Anyway, and then there's another organization, all of which do the same sort of thing, but under different statutory arrangements of the state of Pennsylvania. And I served on those boards as secretary for a number of years. And then I resigned because now they combine those, so there aren't separate boards, and I was still there. And those met at least once a month and had special meetings. And I was secretary and signed hundreds of legal documents over the years when we'd have the closing those mortgages, and there were a lot of papers to sign, and that helped build a lot of industries in the Poconos. Someplace I started to write down a list of all those structures, those companies that we helped get started in the Poconos, and not a list of all the employees that were employed and the money that they made. But to me, that was almost as the same level of community service without any profit motive. There's no pay, there's no even expenses that you get for doing that for any of those organizations. But Camelback was a business operation. But they, as I say, Pocono Mountains Industries helped Camelback to get started through a loan from the federal, not from the federal government, but guaranteed by the federal government. We met their requirements by using Pocono Mountain Industries. And I didn't vote on any of those things because I had a conflict of interest, but I didn't resign from any of them, and I disclosed all these facts obviously to the boards of directors and to any government agencies that I was required to disclose to. So,
I know you said you started to write down a list of these businesses that you brought in. Can you think of just a couple?
Oh yeah, Traumatic Machine Tool Company. We helped out Weiler Industries, the Weiler Brush Company. Let's see, what's some of the, we helped out a Westinghouse plant, which became something else. We loaned money to Cooper Industries, which is a big international company that had the old line material company buildings and property. There's some of them. Let's see what else. We subsequently had a mortgage with Camelback. Again, this was to help us with the Alpine Slide, and because we hadn't budgeted the Alpine Slide and we didn't have the money to do it. And then the Alpine Slide was the first really extensive profit center for Camelback in the off season, and that was closer to a summer season plus. We could open that in the spring when you wouldn't want to go skiing, so long as it was dry, it wasn't raining. And you could do it in the fall if it wasn't raining, when you wouldn't want to go swimming, I mean. And so I should list, and I will in my memoirs, that the number of companies that we helped. A lot of them don't just come to mind now, but I say it was 30 different companies. And
Hey guys.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Nobody else is here.
Yeah, everybody's down at the pond skimming event.
Oh, what is that?
It's where you try to get across on your skis or snowboard and a pond be made.
Oh, yeah. Okay, they used to do that in New England. Yeah. I'm not up to that anymore.
I'll see you over there later today.
Yeah, I'm going to be the party, the party.
Okay.
And I'm going to have to leave soon, so I'll close the door after me.
Okay, I'll meet you over there in a little while.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we have to go, we can finish this in the car on the way back.
Yeah, well, let's see. 2:30. Yeah, I'm going to have to go in a couple minutes. Why don't you take that with you?
Okay.
And you can look at that and
Maybe I can get
tell
it
us-
back to you tomorrow at church. You're gonna
Well, I don't need it tomorrow, but whenever you think of it, to bring it, and the book then too. I want to loan it to this one lady whose name I can't remember. And she comes to our church, but I don't think she's a member. She comes pretty often. She skis here, and she's a ranger, not a ski patrol. You know the difference by reading
Yes,
the book?
by reading the book I do.
Yeah, you're getting to be expert at this.
The policeman of the slopes, sort of.
Yeah, that's right. And Elizabeth Weeks is what they call the I team, and they investigates all accidents, immediately, and so she's skiing or with a snowmobile or something, and she interviews witnesses and describes the snow conditions and exactly where it happened, and tries to find some witnesses to the accident that can give her a first-hand. And then she dictates all that on tape, and she also takes with her camera, takes pictures of the scene, and measurements of the distance from here to there, or whatever is relevant, and describes the snow conditions that existed, or the lift. Anyway, She likes it. She does it Sundays, and she goes to her Catholic church on Saturdays, and so she's up here working and skiing on Sundays, and one night a week. Not every week she doesn't do this, but lots of times. She likes it. She loves to ski.
All right, so are we going to head south?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll turn this off to